Good Morning ASEAN ช่วงสายตรงอาเซียน
ตอนนี้เบอร์นีแมคคิลัสพร้อมอยู่ในสายกับสายตรงอาเซียนครับ Good morning.
Very good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Bangkok. Good morning, ASEAN. This is Bernie from Manila.
Nice. How are you, Bernie?
Yeah, I'm fine. I am right here now at the International Media Center.
So, is there any new movement so far?
Yeah, actually there's so much happening here in Manila because of the ASEAN Summit.
Yes.
And the 20 and where there are the 20 world leaders are here in the Philippines in Manila to attend the ASEAN Summit and related summits of our partners and our FTA partners of ASEAN.
Nice.
So some 20 world leaders, including the 10 ASEAN countries, including your Prime Minister of Thailand, are conducting their meetings here in Manila. Actually, this is the last day because the summit is actually yesterday and today, but I think some leaders will be extending their stay until Thursday because some of them will still have some bilateral meetings with other leaders of other countries.
Right.
As well. So during the two-day meetings, ASEAN was able to sign some agreements. One of this is the free trade agreement with Hong Kong. So Hong Kong is now our sixth free trade agreement country partner of the 10 member country organization of ASEAN. This means that we will be freely trading with Hong Kong on a free trade where products can be traded free of tariff. So the leaders are also expected today to approve the substantial conclusion of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, that is the RCEP. So that is a very important cooperation because that will lead to a free trade agreement among countries in the region, including China, but excluding the U.S. and Europe. So the 10 leaders also held separate summits with leaders from existing FTA partner countries like China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and India. And our latest is Hong Kong. ASEAN leaders held summits also with the dialogue partner countries, U.S., EU, and Russia. Meantime, if you will be interested, the ASEAN the ASEAN Business and Investment Summit also came up with a report from the ASEAN on the foreign direct investment flows into the region, which showed that there was a 20% decline in FDI flows into the region to 96.7 billion in 2016, and from 120 billion in 2015. With the Philippines posting the highest growth to become the fourth largest FDI recipient among 10 ASEAN countries, according to the ASEAN Investment Report 2017. So we have a decline in our investments going into our region, but then the report, which was released also yesterday by the ASEAN Business Advisory Council, said that the sharp decline in the investments going into the ASEAN was largely because of the general decline in global foreign direct investments. But this was being offset by the increase in investments from ASEAN member countries, which invested in their own fellow ASEAN member states, like, for example, in mining and agriculture. That's the biggest investments where our ASEAN member states are investing in our fellow ASEAN countries. Broken down, Singapore was the biggest FDI recipient despite its huge decline with 53.912 billion. This was followed by Vietnam with 12.6 billion and Malaysia with 11.38 billion. The Philippines posted the highest growth with 46.6% increase, and we generated $7.933 billion from $5.639 billion last year. And we are now the fourth largest from sixth in 2015. Indonesia, with FDI flows of only 3.52 billion, this was a very big decline from last year's FDI flows to Indonesia of 16.6 billion dollars. And this makes them the second biggest in 2015. Other FDI flows in ASEAN went to Myanmar, $2.989 billion. Thailand with $2.553 billion. This was also a decline from $8.02 billion. Cambodia with $2.279 billion. Laos PDR with $1.75 billion. Brunei Darussalam. This was a negative. This was an increase to $171 million. To $150 million from $171 million the previous year. So that's how we have been attracting foreign investors into our region. Foreign investors are looking into ASEAN because we are now one economic community, and we are promoting as one single market and one production hub. So the world investors are really looking into the region as one economic power in the coming years.
Mm-hmm. Bernie, as for your information, the growth of FDI in Philippines, 7.9 billion, right? Billion US dollar.
Yes, this was an increase. Yeah.
What do investors focus? What kind of industries that they eyes on?
Actually, there was so much. The report was so detailed, and they said that ASEAN investors and intra-ASEAN investors, meaning countries within ASEAN that invest in their fellow ASEAN neighbors, they are investing more in mining and agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
But other investors outside of ASEAN, they are more into manufacturing and services. But the foreign investors are really have really declined by so much. It declined by 20% their investments because of the global decline also in FDI. So that is not because we have a problem, but because this is a global phenomenon. But then the intra-ASEAN investment is also good, doing good, and especially our fellow ASEAN. Our ASEAN neighbors, our ASEAN businessmen, they are investing especially in the CLMV countries, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. So these countries are now receiving a lot of investments from our fellow ASEAN investors also.
Mm-hmm. Okay, please move on.
Yeah, and we have the report also noted that our investments the investments going into ASEAN are mostly going into the economic zones in the country. The eco zones. The Philippines has lots of economic zones in also, and there are over 1,000 eco zones in the 10 ASEAN countries. So this foreign investors are flocking into our eco zones because these eco zones have very friendly rules and regulations, and they can do their own thing with better incentives, and they are given lots of tax incentives, and the processes are very simplified, and they don't have much interference from the government and the local government units. So these companies, the foreign investors, are flocking into our eco zones, not only in the Philippines but also in other countries. I also spoke with one of the economists here in the foreign economist who is now based in the Philippines, who just opened an office in the Philippines, Mr. Peter Landgreen, and he said that one thing the ASEAN region should focus on is on strengthening the economic zones where there are free trade zones, or to make the region a free trade zone region, because that is what is attracting more investors into the ASEAN countries, because the business processes in a free trade zone are simplified, and there are incentives, and they can do their business unhampered because of government processes. So this is one thing that the economists said the ASEAN governments must do or strengthen in order to further attract more investors into the region.
Okay, Bernie, such an interesting news. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for your time, Bernie.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Okay.
Have a nice day, Bernie.
Bangkok. Good morning, ASEAN. Have a nice day.
Thank you for you too. Goodbye.
ครับคุณผู้ฟังครับBernie Magkilat นะครับจากมะนิลาบูเลตินก็พูดถึงเรื่องของความร่วมมือกันทางเศรษฐกิจพูดถึงเขตการค้าเสรีหรือว่า Free Trade Area นะครับก็พูดถึงที่ตกลงกับทางเราและฮ่องกงแล้วก็ยังมีประเด็นที่เกี่ยวกับเรื่องเงินลงทุนโดยตรงจากต่างประเทศอาเซียนเนี่ยลดลงไป 20% ถือว่าเยอะนะครับจากเม็ดเงินลงทุนต่างชาติแต่อาเซียนเราลงทุนกันเองในประเทศอาเซียนเนี่ยก็ยังเยอะอยู่ยังทดแทนกันได้นะครับส่วนใหญ่เราลงทุนกับเพื่อนบ้านเราในธุรกิจอย่างเช่นธุรกิจเมืองแร่ธุรกิจเกษตรแบบนี้เป็นต้น
ใช่ครับผมส่วนการลงทุนจากต่างประเทศก็จะเป็นเรื่องของการลงทุนทางด้านอุตสาหกรรมการผลิตซะส่วนใหญ่นะครับผมซึ่งเราก็จะเห็นปรากฏการณ์เหล่านี้ที่เกิดขึ้นทั้งในประเทศไทยแล้วก็ทั้งในประเทศเพื่อนบ้านเราด้วยครับ
ครับตอนแรกก็ถามเขาเหมือนกันแหละว่าฟิลิปปินส์เนี่ยFDI เขาโตเยอะนะครับประมาณสัก 8,000 ล้านเหรียญก็ถ้าเกิดมาจากต่างประเทศเขาก็ยังเข้ามาในธุรกิจที่เป็นโรงงานกับบริการแต่ว่าสิ่งหนึ่งที่นักเศรษฐศาสตร์พูดคล้ายๆกันที่เบอร์นี่บอกก็คือเราก็จะต้องปรับหน้าปรับตาปรับโครงสร้างของอาเซียนให้ดึงดูดเม็ดเงินลงทุนมากกว่านี้
ครับผม
คลื่นข่าว 100.5
MCOT News Network